on to the next round in the Conference League. All right, everyone, welcome back to American Blues Podcast. Let's talk about Chelsea 5, Shamrock Rovers 1. Again, we played our B team. There were some surprises. Cucurella starting made sense since he got his stupid red card at the end of the last game. Whatever. And then Madueke starting was a big surprise, but I suppose it's probably because we don't want to use all of our wingers in a midweek Conference League game, especially now that Mudryk is probably out for minimum, I would say minimum 1 to 2 years. Yeah, if he has a good lawyer, maybe he'll get that taken down, but I think that's the absolute minimum, unfortunately. But yeah, we can chat about that one in a little bit, although there's really not much to until we get more news. But let's talk about this game. I think we played extremely well. This is, I think, one of the better teams that we've played in the Conference League, and we still just completely demolished them. And I think what's the most impressive after this many games this season is that Maresca has done something at this team that it took City even a while to do. I remember City at their best, it was no matter who they brought on from their bench or academy, you felt like they knew the game plan instantly. It's like they had been playing with that team forever. They knew their role perfectly. And that's because Pep's style was played by their reserve team. And then in the academy, like that entire club is built towards Pep's style. And I think what's even more impressive is that Maresca has seemingly done that in just a few short months. You know, our A team plays incredibly well. Our B team plays pretty much the exact same. You know, our defenders are defending in the same way. They're making the really clean, sharp, fast through passes that, you know, that you see Colwell do so often. And then our inverting, of course, it was Cucurella today, but if it were Vega, I feel like he could do it just as fine. If we're on the other side, Gusto or, you know, Ajapang also I felt like did really well. And then Tyreek George, I thought had a fantastic game on the wing. Whether it was left wing, right wing, he's got a lot of talent. You know, he's still raw, you can tell, but I'm just beyond impressed by how well people seem to be integrating into this team and to this style. It just feels like everyone's on the same page. Now, as for the goals, I think, you know, the first two were just, what can you say, Shamrock? Like, I just don't think they're used to playing against teams who are on the front foot as much as we are in terms of our press and just everything. Like, we gave them absolutely no space to think, no space to get that first touch or turn. And we were just absolutely on top of them. And those 2 goals by GUIU at first, he just pounced on them. One was a really good finish by his head. That was the first one. He crashed into the post. I was honestly afraid he had to go off after that, but apparently the dude is a beast. And he can hit the pole full speed, no big deal, walks away. And then the second one, another good one where he intercepted, took it around the goalie, really clean finish with his left foot from a pretty tight angle. So very impressive that he kept his cool, was able to get that finish. And of course, we did give a goal in between, but like I don't even really see that as a negative. You know, it was just a really good strike from a corner where we were nowhere near to getting that second ball, and it just so happened to fall onto his foot, and he volleyed it and took a deflection. Like, what can you do? There's no training to stop goals like that. There's no like defensive shape to stop corners like that. So it is what it is. It's more good that we just came back immediately afterwards and just kept on scoring. And third goal, again, really impressive by, I think, mainly Cucurella being in the right position in that left side of 8 where, you know, it seems like this guy can play like 3 or 4 different positions easily. Perfect weighted pass to Nkunku, who got the control. Unfortunately, the goalie kind of rounded him and took the ball away, but then KDH was in the perfect spot for the follow through, hit into the corner. Great finish, great composure. And then Mark GUIU, great hat trick, first hat trick for the club. And you can kind of see, like, even though, again, he's one of those players that's still really raw, you can see the talent. You can see he offers a completely different type of profile to Jackson, right? He's way more physical. He's more of a box presence, and he's fast. And so great cross in by Madueke. really nice header into that bottom corner, like striker's finish. And that's all I want to see from him. So glad he could get his hat trick. Great for him. And then I think Madueke had to come off for Harvey Vale at halftime. Hopefully it was just because we don't need Madueke in a game like this, and it's just to save his legs and avoid injury. Hopefully there's nothing that actually happened to him. I don't think there was. I don't think the announcer said anything. And then last one, Cucurella, second goal for the club. What a beautiful sequence of passing. I think it went from GUIU to KDH, who then swung it back over to Nkunku, who saw Cucurella make the run. And Cucurella took it really well, really good first touch, and just slammed it into that bottom corner. Great celebration. Couldn't be happier for him. I think if he can have his shooting boots on with the positions that he's getting into that left side at 8 and running into that box, like he could be essentially what Chilwell was for us, but with way more aggressiveness, better defending, better passing. Basically, everything's better, along with the finishing that Chilwell always had with that ridiculous left foot of his. If Cucurella can add that to the game, oh my God, the amount of options we have on attack, the amount of people that we can run into the box last minute. He could float into that far corner. He could be on the edge of the box hitting those shots. Yeah, if he can do that consistently, we're gonna be near unstoppable. And I think finally, a huge positive, another academy debut for Murray Campbell on the right side. I did think he had one kind of shaky moment where he wasn't really sure of his positioning and the guy almost ran by him. He gave him a little shove outside the box. I think that could have easily been called a foul. They didn't call it, but again, it's his debut. I thought I'm just more happy for him more than judging his performance because it's his debut. Like, he's probably nervous. It's Conference League. There's not much to judge. It's more that I'm glad another academy player got a chance to join in on the first team. And what I want to point out is there was a video that Chelsea released, I think it was earlier today. It was a speech that Maresca was making in the dressing room to welcome both Achiampong and Tyreek George officially onto the first team. They've graduated from the academy. And just that whole speech is just, I would go watch it. It's incredible. It's exactly what you want to hear from your manager. Basically, to paraphrase it, he was like, I want you to welcome these guys. They're an example of players coming from the academy to the first team. But they're like, you have to remind them every day that they need to earn this right to play on the first team, that they did. They can never take this for granted. They can never drop their standards. And if they do drop their standards, then it's on each of the senior players to set a better example and to push them along. And then one day, these two guys can hopefully motivate our younger academy players to do the same. And that's how you build a successful academy. That's how you build a successful club. I think that's something that every Chelsea fan has always loved, is seeing an academy player come through and fully reach their potential. You know, unfortunately, over the years, we just really haven't had that many. I would say the most successful have been John Terry and Reece James. That's it. And James is now permanently injured. I thought for a time Mount might have been that player, but of course he moved on. Tammy Abraham, I was honestly never really that fully convinced about, and neither was I about Ruben Loftus-Cheek, but that's another time, another day. They're no longer with the team. But yeah, I think that message is fantastic, and you can see the ideas that Maresca is instilling into the team, and I think that's super important. And one last thing, which is João Felix is way too good to be coming on from the bench to play in the Conference League. But on the other hand, I can understand why, because for as good as he is, for as talented as he is, I think talent-wise, he's probably up there with Palmer on the team. Just natural born talent, such good technical ability. But what he's always lacked, not just with us, with Atletico and all of his loans, is end product. Like, his end product is just not there. He had several chances today where he could have easily bagged a goal or two, but he didn't. And unfortunately for him, that's kind of why he doesn't play in front of Palmer. Like, I'm sorry. And maybe that's even why he doesn't play in front of Nkunku in the Conference League, because, you know, what Nkunku can do, he finishes. Or if he doesn't finish, he contributes to the team, which, you know, João easily can too. But I do think if there's anything that João Felix can work on, it's just that final product, either that final pass or especially that final shot and goal. If he improves those things, then he'll be the talent that everyone has always thought he could be, And I feel like that's the one thing that's holding him back. But yeah, I got no negatives from this game. Like, what can you say? Beat Shamrock Rovers 5-1. We're essentially undefeated in the Conference League. We've lost one game to Servette in one half. That was it. That's it. So yeah, moving on. I believe it's going to be the knockout stages next. If I am understanding this league format correctly, don't quote me on that. But if it is, fantastic. Moving on. I fully expect us to win this competition. Like, it'll just be straight up embarrassing if we don't. We've probably spent more than every other team in this league combined on our on our team currently. So there's just no excuse to not win it. But again, it's a great platform for our young players. It's a great platform for the players who aren't able to play on the weekends in the Premier League games to really impress the manager. And then when injuries inevitably happen, we have ready to go players to fill in those spots, and they know exactly what they need to do. And that's all we can ask for. So can't wait for the Everton game. See you guys after that one. Peace.